All right, the question is, how do I deploy a Node.js API to render.com? So let's first make sure that we have a project that's up and running. That looks great. Let me just run a simple request here to make sure that that looks good. Sweet. And what we're going to do is we're going to generate a new project, to actually a new deployment URL. So what we need to do first is publish this to GitHub. So I'm going to say publish to GitHub. I'll make it public. Give that a sec. Okay, and I'll say open on GitHub. That all looks great. Here's my code. And next up, I need to go to render.com. Okay, so here's my render dashboard. You might not see anything here, but that's fine. I'm just gonna hit new, and I'll say web service. And my most recent commit should just show up right at the top here. I'll say, yep, here's my temp project. I'll hit commit or connect. I can call this anything. I could say CSE 341 project 1. The build command, we're not using yarn. I'm just going to say npm install. Wow, I keep on doing that. And then the start command, let me just look at what my file is. It is app.js. Okay, so I just say node app.js and create web service. Okay, once I create that, it's going to kick off a build as soon as I create it. And this build will take a few minutes. So I'll go ahead and pause this, but by the time it's finished, I should be able to come back over to VS Code and go into my routes.rest file and use that URL in place of my localhost 8080. So if I hit send request on here, let's see what it gets. I get a 502 bad gateway. Okay, I don't know what all is going on in the build process, but I was expecting a 404. Okay, so it is doing something, but in a couple of minutes, once this build finishes, I should see the exact same thing as I see here when I run that. And actually, that's not entirely true because of this .env file right here. If I look at how I'm connecting to my database, it's with this MongoDB URI. So one thing that I will have to do in render is, because this will successfully deploy, ideally it'll successfully deploy, but it won't work until I go into environment and I add that environment variable. And then I'll just paste that same thing from my env file right here and hit save.